In football, pressure and adrenaline can transform the field into a scene of chaos. In this video, we will explore how the intensity of the games leads to moments where strategy becomes brute force and sport into wrestling. Get ready for a technical analysis of the most shocking episodes in a seemingly normal play between player Yuzo Akemi and player Dominic Cora. Something really unexpected happened. Akemi managed to get the ball out and then, jumping over the midfielder, repeatedly stepped on the German player's head with his boot, which was extremely painful due to the cleats. The scene was terrifying. The affected player got up and tried to continue the game, but the referee had to stop the game. The German players ran to the doctors, and that blow had caused a dissection, leaving his head bleeding profusely. He received stitches, and surprisingly, he returned to the field. Regrettably, despite the seriousness of the incident, the perpetrator was not punished. The keeper of the reins in the Dragon Paradise, Misha Kuchi, did not approve of the star's behavior. In one of the plays, Frenchman Kylian Mbappé took the ball from under the goalkeeper's feet while he was trying to start a quick attack. Rajka Avic, visibly upset, shouted unkind words at Mbappé and then pushed him away with his hand. The goalkeeper showed no fear towards the referee, who was a few meters away from the incident. As a result, he was later shown a yellow card. In assessing the situation, the court explained that it was not the first time that the doorman had acted in this way. Rajka and Beach simply stood aside and laughed at the leaders of Paris. The most shocking moment of the confrontation between Freiburg and Inter occurred in the last seconds of the match, when the ball went out of bounds. David Abraham ran after him, but on his way he met the Freiburg coach, who stood still. The ball passed close to the coach without him reacting, and Abraham, without slowing down, ended up violently colliding with his shoulder, causing the entire bench of substitutes to fall to the grass immediately. The Freiburg players reacted immediately to defend their coach, sparking a skirmish that quickly escalated into a massive brawl. Once the emotions calmed down, the referee showed Abraham the red card, and subsequently the German Football Association sanctioned him by disqualifying him until the end of 2020. Liverpool footballers managed to score 3 goals in the first half against Manchester United, and at that moment Cristiano Ronaldo's nerves could not resist the pressure. Curtis Jones, Merseysiders. He protected the ball with his body and managed to get ahead of the Portuguese. In response, Ronaldo knocked him down with a blow to the hip, and after falling to the grass, he furiously kicked the ball and ended up, in a nutshell, hitting the player's abdomen. Liverpool players reacted immediately. Jones ran towards Ronaldo to scold him, and Virgil van Dijk had to intervene to calm the situation before it escalated. The match referee, Anthony Taylor, showed a yellow card to Ronaldo, although in similar circumstances. Referees usually sanction a red card for aggression. What do you think, friends? Do you think Cristiano should have been kicked out of this game? Leave us your answer in the comments. Juventus defender Mehdi Venetia hit Higuain hard on the back, which led the referee to show a yellow card to the Becchia player Senora Gonzalo. Visibly furious, reacted explosively. The Argentine striker reprimanded the referee with harsh words, criticizing him and shouting, "Yellow card. That's why he's just crazy." Faced with the insult, the referee did not hesitate to take the red card out of his other pocket and give it to Higuain. This only intensified the anger of the player, who continues to shout at the referee. Cristiano Ronaldo intervened in an attempt to calm his teammate and prevent the situation from worsening even further. Jose Bochingua. On the other hand, I do not tolerate Yoshi Benayoun making time in a dispute near the corner flag. Didi Drogba was running, but suddenly Bozinwa burst into the scene. Although his speech was brief, it is curious how soccer players tend to beat their backs on certain plays. In the case of Scout Rowe, there was a straight red card, but the referee did not interpret the situation correctly. Even the assistant referee, who was only inches away from the incident, remained in. And as a result, the Taekwondo player did not even receive a yellow card for his unsportsmanlike action. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, known for his provocative actions that usually go unnoticed by referees, was involved in an incident in the match between PSG Lim. The striker of the opposing team, Rio Magu, reacted furiously to the Swede's provocations and, without hesitation, pushed him with the palm of his hand. Surprised by the response, Zlatan grabbed the player by the back of the neck, who did not stay behind and knocked the attacker to the ground. This all happened right in front of the referee, but instead of showing red cards, he decided to limit the situation to simple warnings for both players. In the 40th minute, Mason Holgate and Roberto Firmino fought intensely for the ball. The Everton defender, realizing he couldn't get past the Brazilian, pushed him towards the edge of the field. Immediately afterwards, with his hands, he threw it against a company advertising sign, going through the shields and accidentally hitting a woman among the spectators. The reaction was not long in coming. Firmino, visibly upset, blocked the player's path with determination, shouted angrily, and began to head towards the referee. Holgate, for its part, complained to the arbitrator, arguing that the company did not use words in Russian in advertising texts, an issue that has generated controversy in England for years. However, the Football Federation found no evidence to support that Firmino had been insulted for racial reasons, so no sanctions were applied in the Italian Cup match between Inter and Milan. There was a strong conflict between Romelu Lukaku and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The Belgian approached the Swede, but the Swede shook his head and struck his opponent's forehead on the chin. Their companions tried to separate them and prevent the confrontation from escalating to adults, but the skirmish did not end there. Ibrahimovic shouted scornfully, "Go mind your own business, little donkey!" Lukaku, indignant, responded, "Do you want to talk?" At 45 minutes, when the players had already started to go to the break, Lukaku was still shouting, "Let's go for it all! See you in the stands and we'll solve it there, brother!" The Belgian was furious and shouted, "You want to talk about my mom? Maybe you didn't understand. Why?" Lukaku linked the screams to his mother. But this? It is a reference to the statement of the owner of Everton in England about certain expressions related to skin color. Romelu defended from 2013 to 2017. In one of his interviews, an official said, "Why Ramallah didn't last anyway?" During one of the meetings, the footballer called his mother and told her that during the pilgrimage, he had received a message from a voodoo priest about the need for his transition to Chelsea. Because of this, he refused to sign a new agreement with Merseyside. In January 2013, Swansea suffered in the semi-final of the English League Cup. The ball flew off the goal line, and instead of clearing it, the Swansea player, forgetting that he was no longer in the yard, blocked the ball with his whole body and stubbornly refused to hand it over. At first, I tried to snatch him the easy way, a projectile with tenacious hands, but when that didn't help, the Belgian didn't give up. I tried to time it and get it out from under him. Then the real theater of emotions began. The boy cringed in fear, felt unbearable pain in all his limbs and immediately let go of the ball. But it was too late. The referee intervened in the story after seeing it and for causing intentional injury. A match participant showed Saru the red card 10 minutes before the end of the game. By the way, the victim was none other than the son of a famous shareholder, so the story received impressive media attention. Can many of you remember Juan Camilo Zúñiga's terrible foul on Neymar in the 2014 World Cup? When the Colombian team, in the fight for the ball, hit the Brazilian's back with its knee. After this blow, he was diagnosed with a fracture of the middle third of the lumbar vertebra. What could have happened if the impact had been only a few inches lower? The Colombian apologized to Neymar, and he seemed to have forgiven him, but 1 year later, in a Copa America match, Brazil faced Colombia. And as usual, the long-standing rivals met again. There were blows on Neymar, and among the offenders was once again Juan Zúñiga. At one point, the Brazilian couldn't resist and addressed him with gestures saying, "Thank you. After all this, you called me and asked me to forgive you. I'm waiting for a call from you, son of a bitch, to apologize to me." At the end of the match, Neymar lost his patience, and in one of the episodes, he hit Pablo Armero hard in the back. After this, the Colombian player reacted as if he had been hit on the back with a mallet. Players from both teams started a massive fight. Then, Carlos Bacca pushed Neymar with all his strength, barely leaving him standing. The skirmish continued, and even the court had to intervene and end the game 1 minute early. As a result, Vaca and Neymar each received a red card in the 2014 World Cup. For various reasons, the Cameroon team was considered the most conflictive team of the tournament. However, beyond the controversies off the field, they managed to leave their mark in the match against Croatia. Cameroon was already losing in their second match of the championship when in the 40th minute, during a Croatian counterattack, Alex Song surreptitiously hit Mario Mandzukic in the back with his fist. If the Croatian striker had really been in a dangerous position for the Cameroonian goal, perhaps Song would have had some argument to justify his action. But at that moment, Mandzukic didn't even have the ball. The referee did not hesitate to show him the red card, and surprisingly, Son accepted the decision without discussion, in contrast to what usually happens in similar situations. Finally, FIFA sanctioned the player with a 3-game suspension. As a result, the midfielder was unable to play the last World Cup match against Brazil and missed 2 more matches with the national team after the tournament. Before closing this video, I leave you with an idea. Football is not only tactics and talent, it is also emotion and adrenaline at its peak. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to continue exploring the game's most intense moments, make sure you don't miss what's coming. There is much more to discover, and your participation is key to continuing to delve deeper into this exciting world, so subscribe. Give me a like if you liked the video. Share and comment so we can continue exploring together. See you in the next video.